Welcome back to We Are Here podcast live stream. After our first episode, we had some community letters come in from some people in the community just asking us some advice.
Ooh, what do they want to know, baby?
I don't know, but they got some questions, so I'm going to read them out loud. So the first one we have is, I just moved to Dorchester last winter. How do I find community? How would you answer that?
You know, don't go to Grindr. That's my. Listen, I mean, you know, it's very, to me, like, it's totally relatable. I moved to Dorchester the first time around when I came to Boston, and how did I find community? I honestly I googled like gay bars, gay clubs, and stuff like that, and I went around and I hung out with people, and I found the drag community and everything, and I feel like that's the most positive way to find community, especially if you're a teen too.
Yes.
I would say reach out to like a GSA at your school, maybe. Girl, you see that one girlfriend or that one Judy at the school, and she's like, hey, say hi to the biz, go, you know, go like, hey girl, you look good, Judy. Yeah. Okay.
Can never go wrong with compliments.
You can.
All.
No, you look good.
Thank you, as do you.
Oh, you want to date?
That's a different podcast.
Oh.
A little bit, I don't know. I would answer that with saying Eventbrite. Eventbrite. I know a lot of like blue events that are on Eventbrite, so you can look on Eventbrite. You can also look on Instagram and follow also a lot of community events that are happening in your community. I think that's probably the best way of finding it. And as you know, you said, just make friends. You know what I mean? Just be
or
out
follow
here.
Codman Square, because they'll
That part.
provide to you some resources and some events.
That
Amen.
part. Amen. Ashe.
Hashtag Codman Square.
I love that. I love that. Second question. I'm 17 from Mattapan. My family is Haitian, so my mother found my Instagram and I have a picture with my boyfriend, and she asked me who that was. They want to come out, but they're scared. Any advice?
You know, I feel it's like so relatable because, you know, being from another country where like values are seen different, I think like with me, it wasn't more about coming out. I mean, we all do it differently. We all have our comfort zones, right? The way that I did it with a family who, you know, comes from a third world country and like has these values, like my dad's Garifuna, my mom's Honduran. I really didn't tell them. I think I just kind of just started being myself and showed them. Mm. And if they questioned about it, it was like, this is my partner, I'm with them, or this is how I am. I think conversations can be a good thing, especially with families that are not like, you know, very with the US and everything, like values and like the way that people are brought up here. I think conversations are good, especially with like POC families, because even though we disagree, having that conversation is good so your parents can know where you stand at and how you feel, because I think that we need to know how we are mentally, how we are spiritually, how we are where we are, you know?
I love that response and just being authentically yourself. I would also say, because you're 17, is there anyone that you trust within your family that could potentially help you break this to your mom or have the conversation with them and get some kind of solitude with that person that you trust? Also, if you want to come out, that's the first part, right? Like, you already want to. Follow your heart. It's hard, and I understand cultural backgrounds. It can be very difficult. At the same time, like, your mom loves you. So I would just, you know, be...
Let me reinforce that too, because I love what you're saying. You know, here, what I'm gonna tell you is this, is that no matter what happens, again, what you said, she loves you. She might have a reaction. It can be a negative, it can be a positive, but no matter what, you will always be her child. No matter what, she will always think about you. No matter what she says or how she takes it, mama will still love you because of somebody. Because you know how the saying goes, I can tell you something and I can read you. They can't.
That part. And how do you know your mom may not already know and is waiting for you to tell her?
Yeah, and parents always know. We always think that as kids, we think like we're one step ahead. Oh, like we just invented it. So, our parents,
they know us sometimes.
Girl,
like,
I remember.
Better than we know ourselves.
I remember. I used to hear like my dad and my mom used to say, when I was little, like, oh, he's gonna be the special one. And then it's like, as I started growing up, I was like, oh damn, I am the special one.
That part.
And they will always know, and they always kind of, especially mothers, they kind of always wait. They kind of just wait, and then the fathers, it's like, you'll be surprised. A lot of POC dads are more accepting, and that's so weird. They're accepting, but socially, they don't show that. They'll support you, and they won't tell you that.
I also feel compelled to say, speaking to someone, like we talked about Codman Square Health Center, and that's also somebody that you can confide in too. You can speak to somebody there as well.
There are phone numbers out there too. And
sure.
you can follow me
so
and we can
resources.
talk. I'll be your Judy. Listen, baby, I have a lot of people texting me all the time. If you want to talk to me, come talk to me. You need food? I got food stamps.
I have one last question. And the last question is, I want to talk to my partner about my kinks. I would like for him to be more open to things I'm into, like BDSM, role play, etc. But I'm not sure how to approach talking to him about this. Any advice?
Baby, go to the store. Go to the store, baby. Get your things, just throw it at him. Be like, baby, today you will learn who I am. Not just like, sex, well, this is in my perspective because I think you'll have a different perspective too. We all experience sex differently. We all have kinks and everything. And I think when it comes to relationships, you really have to always be open to explore. Sex, sex is boring if we're just doing this. You remember when you used to get your two dolls? Like, you used to get Ken and Barbie, but I didn't have Ken Barbie. I had, the Bratz doll, and I had the G.I. Joe, girl, and you used to go like this. Yeah. Like, it's boring. I am a person that, like, I feel like, you kind of, like, socially, if somebody tells you, you ever had a threesome? You kind of go like, no, I would never. Hell yeah, girl, I want to try it. Like, and I think it's just like, when you explore and you experience sex in many different ways, it's awesome because, like, you kind of find what fulfills you. And also too, like, when it comes down to relationships and partners, like, you want to fulfill them. You also want to fulfill yourself, but you also want to explore each other's bodies. And I think that sex in general is never, it's always looked at as taboo to talk about or to explore, but it's just like, girl, get nasty, girl. Find your jizz at PG-13. Amen.
Sure. My response to that would probably be, honestly, just communication. I think having open dialogue with your partner and asking them questions about what some of their wants and needs are, and then being able to communicate what your wants and needs are, and having that healthy open dialogue where you will be able to gauge whether or not that your partner is willing at least to participate in said act.
Common ground.
Right, exactly. I think that when you're introducing anything new, it's all about communication and just being open and honest, but also allowing people to communicate what they might not want. So I would just say to you, if you want to talk about role play or BDSM, I would say have a conversation around like, what would you think if I dressed up and said thing? You know, start the conversation maybe in that, or what are some of your wants or needs, or is there anything that maybe that you would like to do that would satisfy you, and like we can just have a conversation about it. What are your fantasies? Like what are your wants?
It's so crazy because like I feel like when it comes to conversations like that, it's like it's not about and when you do have this conversation, don't feel like you are trying to convince, because you're never convincing someone when you're trying to express how you feel. What you're doing is just breaking their values or their perceptions of what they feel or perceive a certain type of action. And I think that exploring is always having the mentality to like be free and like really break down what other people said, and then experiencing it and then having your own opinion about it.
But again, open communication is key, because also open communication leads to consent. And we want to ensure that we have consent over our partners and over our bodies as well. And that wraps up the rest of my community questions. If you have any community questions or community letters that you want to send in to us, please follow us at #WeAreHereBoston, or you can find us on the web at codman.org/WeAreHereBoston.
Amen.
Ashe.
Okay.